Spirituality was considered a very serious subject. It was something to be done by sitting in the Himalayas or by doing large yajnas and tapas and all those things. So when I came to Prashanti Nilayam, the very concept of what spirituality was very different. Nitya Nutanam Panchatoranam. Every day was a celebration. See, the flower garlands which you see in the background was not only for festivals. It was a regular thing. Every day was a celebration in Prashanti Nilayam. And Swami was always happy. And this was very interesting. So it means that spirituality is not to be serious all the time. And Swami went on to say that those with serious faces are all castor oil faces. And he was not interested. He said, no, if you're not smiling, then you are not progressing. So with that kind of background that Swami gave, the relationship which we had with Swami was very, very interesting and unique. I thought I'll share some of those stories. So one of the earlier interactions I had after Swami gave me this unique opportunity of being his personal servitor. The first initial days, and I was full of enthusiasm. I walked into interview room one day and said, Swami, I want to serve you the way Hanuman served Rama. I want to serve you like Hanuman Swami. And Swami turned and looked at me up and down and said, Hanuman is Vayuputra. He can jump from here to another country. He can become as big as he wants. He can become as small as he wants. Can you do all that? Serve me as yourself. That is more than enough. Even, the Dasa Yugo which comes in Puttaparthi, so even when you think that there's a saying that says, a man's pride is such that even when he becomes a beggar, he wants to be the king among beggars. So even when you get the opportunity to be just a servant of Swami, even then you want to be the king among servants. You want to be Hanuman. So Swami beautifully burst that bubble. And he said, don't even think of being Hanuman. But what he said was beautiful. He said, serve me as yourself. That is enough. I do not expect anything more. I remember in my initial years of inadequacy, and I used to feel very, very sad for Swami that he picked up somebody like me for doing service. Someone who did not know Telugu and all those kind of parameters by which we normally judge a person's capability. Swami makes it very clear that he does not select the qualified, he qualifies the selected. So that was the case in mine as well. So one of the brothers who had been close to Swami before, he had once come to Prashanti Nilayam, and I went and approached him and said, brother, what should I do to make myself capable of this role? What can I do to make it such that Swami will be happy with me, and so that I can be in tune with what is Swami's expectations of me? So that brother in his infinite wisdom beautifully answered to me saying, see Harish, Swami at any point in his time, he picks that person who he needs to pick at that time. He does not want to pick you and make you like somebody who was there before you. To such an extent that so he explained that there was one boy who it was time for Swami to give the opportunity. So he called that boy and said, okay, from tomorrow you come and reside in my house. So that time Swami was living in Prashanti Nilayam, in this place which is seeing in the background above the interview room, the first floor. That's where Swami's room was. And I've had the privilege to see that room. That room size is like probably as big as the walk-in wardrobes in most of your homes. That is the size of entire room of Swami. So there used to be a place for a small cot for Swami, and there was place for one person to lie down next to that on the floor. And then there would be the door where, which is the bathroom where Swami would go and brush his teeth in the morning. So the boy said that this person whom Swami picked, he was such a deep sleeper that even God cannot awaken him in the morning when it's time to get up. So he used to happily sleep. And Swami used to be so gracious that when he, in the morning, when he has to get ready to come down for darshan, he used to tiptoe around him without disturbing him and go get ready and then go down for darshan. So that is how Swami is. So you don't worry too much about you are adapting towards it. Swami adapts towards you. He does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. So with this state of assurance, Swami allowed me and gave the space to be myself, right? I remember one of those interactions, beautiful interactions when one day we were doing Padaseva to Swami. And then Swami suddenly asked, the two boys over there, me and one more boy was there, and Swami asked, what Brahmin are you? And then we were silent. I mean, this is a very trick question. Is Swami trying to check if we have caste ego? What is that Swami is checking? And Swami said, Kadu, patta pet peskuntara, navam veskuntara. You veskuntara, we veskuntara, Swami asked. So what kind of navam do you put? So the other boy who was with me, he said one of the two options. And then when Swami looked at me, I said, Swami, neither of them, I wore a pattai. And then Swami said, you know, in Kerala, there was an elephant. And there was a long, that temple, there were one sect of people said that for the elephant, we should put you. And another sect said they should put we. And between that, argument went for a long time. Then I asked Swami, then what happened? What happened to the elephant? Then he said, elephant go in the pop-up. After some time, the elephant went. So then, inspired by some movie which I had seen sometime, I told Swami, while you petala, we petala na alochincharu kani, teeni petala na alochinchaledo emo. They thought whether we should put you or we, but nobody thought whether we should give food to the elephant. And Swami started laughing so much. It was, and he was like asking question, teeni petledantunava, atlantunava, and all that he was asking, and it was such a fun time. And again, the what space Swami gives at one time and what space Swami gives at another time, we do not know. Because every day he is fresh. He is a Nitya Nutana. So each day we have to handle Swami carefully. So another such occasion came, and this time 5 of us were there in the room. And Swami started asking each of us, what is our name? And each of us told our name. And then Swami asked one boy, okay, what is the meaning of your name? So that boy said, Swami, my name is, the word is another word for Krishna. It's another name for Krishna. Then he came towards me and said, okay, nu peru, Swami Harish. Hari ante emi. Then in my mischief, I said, Swami, Hari means monkey. Why are you saying like that? Then I said, Swami, Mere chepparu kada Swami. You tell in one Chinnagata that Narada went to Narayana and said he was attracted by one girl. And he wanted to marry her. That girl said that she'll marry only somebody with Harimukha. And then Narada came to you and prayed that he wanted Harimukha. And as Narayana, you blessed him. And when he went down to the palace, and everybody laughed at him because his face had become the face of a monkey. And after coming, then you come back to, then Vishnu comes down to that same palace to marry that princess. So then Narada gets very angry with Vishnu and says, you said you will give me Harimukha and then you made my face as monkey. Then he said, you are such a big Pandit. Do you not know that in Sanskrit, Hari has another meaning? that Harimukha is also is the face of a monkey. So I quoted that story to Swami as though I am the one who's teaching Swami that story. Swami, correct too. Kani, all that is correct, but see, this your parents have kept this name. You should not mock your name. And this joke had fallen completely flat. None of the other four also laughed. I was like, oh my God, I made a big mistake. I should not have cracked such jokes in front of Swami. And so this conversation kind of ended there. And then Swami asked us to take him to Bhajan Hall. So we all accompanied Swami to Bhajan Hall and we were all seated in different places. And then Swami continued this discussion with the students who were in the Bhajan Hall. And then he asked first one boy, what is your name? What is the meaning of that name? Then again he turned towards me and said, what is your name? I said, Harish. Hari ante, and then before I could open my mouth, he said, Hari ante monkey. And when Swami said the same thing, everybody, the whole hall started roaring in laughter. So moments ago, I was thinking, okay, then it is my name. Do I not? So I am joking about my name. Why is Swami feeling offended about it? And now Swami is joking about my name and everybody is laughing. I mean, of course, the very fact that when something comes out of Swami's mouth and it is totally different, and I enjoyed it at that moment, but then when I was reflecting about it, I understood a much more deeper feeling there. The kind of ownership which Swami feels towards us is so high that he does not even allow us to mock ourselves or mock our name or mock our body. That is only his right. Because we belong to him. To even have that ego that it is my name, it is my body, it is my voice, it is my accent, it is my vocabulary, all that makes no sense because Swami is very clear that you belong to me. In 2005, I had one of the biggest blessings which I can imagine in Kodaikanal. Swami called me into a room, looked at me eye to eye and said, you are mine. At that moment, of course, many other things were going on in my head and I was not able to grasp it with the same intensity with which it should have been grasped, but that was probably also his play. But even think about even at something as small as cracking a joke about our name, Swami was not keen for it. And the ownership we felt was that only he could do it. There was once a play put up by the students. And there was this one student who was dressed up, all decked up and as Yudhishthira. And he was sitting right there in the front in the Bhajan Hall. So before the program, during those years, there was this chance that Swami gave that all the boys could sit in the Bhajan Hall. And Swami would come inspect the makeup. Sometimes he would call the costume boys, ask them to make some adjustments so that all the characters look the way they're supposed to look. He might call the teachers in charge. He might call the person who wrote the script, look at the script. So all kinds of things. Basically all these are like opportunities. The whole drama is just an opportunity for students to have an extra interaction with Swami. Swami recognizing that would provide the same. And there was this boy who was dressed as Yudhishthira. And he was one of the very important roles in the drama and he was sitting in the front. So Swami came into Bhajan Hall and started scolding him left and right. For the first few seconds, he did not even understand what Swami was telling because Swami had just entered and this boy had not had like regular interactions with Swami before. And Swami was telling him something very fast in Telugu. So he took some time and then, yes, Swami, Swami, I didn't understand. Then Swami replied saying, you already lost yourself in the gamble. How can you wager on Draupadi? So Swami was looking at that student and he was talking to Yudhishthira. And that boy took him a moment to understand that Swami is not talking to him. but he is talking to the character he was playing. We reflect on this. Swami calls each and every one of us as Prematma Slopala. He identifies each and every one of us as his own reflection. So the so-called personality which we have taken up, the so-called mannerism which we have taken up, the so-called course that we are doing, the fact that one is a student, one is a parent, one is a devotee, one is a sevadal, all of these are also characters that we are playing. And when Swami was addressing each and every one of us, he was addressing us, when he was having these conversations with us, he was having a conversation with that character. Because if he is going to go beyond the character and speak to the personality, then Swami is just talking to himself, right? And where is the need for a communication? Where is the need for words there? So very humorously, in very light ways, Swami used to provide a lot of these gems of wisdom. Swami says you can find very few in this world who do not want to be happy. You ask anyone what they want to be, they say they want to be happy. Swami says clearly happiness is not something which can be acquired from outside. It originates from the heart. But Swami, ice cream is making me happy. When I get top marks in class, it is making me happy. When I get a promotion, it is making me happy. When I become a father, it makes me happy. So all those things are coming from the outside world. Swami explains, the happiness we enjoy in the external world is just reflection, reaction, and resound of the happiness which already exists within us. So we get a few opportunities in the world in which we get to see a glimpse of that happiness, which is our innate nature. There's nothing which needs to be done for us to be happy. There is nothing which needs to be accomplished for us to be happy. There is nothing which needs to happen to us. Nothing which needs to be given to us. Nothing which needs to be taken from us for us to be happy. Swami in fact quotes Kabir to say that it is like a fish which is saying it's thirsty for water while existing in a pond full of water. This was this constant state in which Swami was. To give you one of the few instances, I remember once I was sitting next to Swami's chair when he was doing for darshan. Those were the years when Swami's darshan times were very unpredictable. So we never knew when Swami is going to come for darshan, when there is going to be aarti. Everything was a suspense. Swami says, love my uncertainty, for it is not a mistake. A place like Prashanti Nilayam, which ran with complete discipline, where everything had its own time, Swami could still create an uncertainty on every occasion. There was a time once I started doing my duty, he was extra compassionate to me, and he said, you pack your luggage and keep it in the security van. I was absolutely confused about why he is saying something like that, because I was thinking that probably Swami is asking me to shift my luggage to his residence or something like that. Is he asking me to do that? He's neither asking me to take the luggage and go home, nor is he asking me to take the luggage and come in. So it's neither go out nor come in. What is this keeping luggage in the security van? It did not make any sense to me. But Swami's instruction was that he did not give me any more details. So I said, okay. And I took the luggage and kept it in the security van. So the next day, Swami had taken his car, and so those times when Swami was taking his car out, nobody knew what was his destination, where he was going. The person who was driving the car does not understand where Swami is going to go. That certain kind of uncertainty was creating. And so they were driving the car, and so first they thought, okay, Swami is going to go for darshan. Swami said, go beyond Kulwanthal. So they crossed Kulwanthal. Then they, okay, Swami is going to go to the hostel. So boys started getting ready in the hostel. Swami crossed the hostel, crossed the institute, crossed the hostel, crossed Sai Gita shed. Okay, now it's clear. Swami is going to go to Superficiality Hospital. So then people are getting ready in Superficiality Hospital. Swami crossed the airport. Swami crossed Superficiality Hospital. Then, okay, now where Swami is going to go? And then after Swami crossed Puttaparthi border, then they started getting alert that maybe Swami is going to go to Bangalore. And then so he went all the way to Bangalore. And there Swami gets down, goes inside Trayi Vrindavan, which was just digged up. And then there was one of Swami's devotees there. And he said, Swami looked at him and said, I felt like having lunch with you, so I came. The devotee just started crying profusely. And then they had lunch, and then Swami stayed that night. And then they're leaving next day. So one of the boys was there with Swami for many years. He said, Harish, when we started from Kulwanthal, we did not know that Swami is going to go to Vrindavan. How come you are the only one who had a bag with change of clothes? Then I said, no, yeah, Swami had told me the previous day only to keep a bag ready in the security van. So then that student looks at me and says, see, we are all thinking that Swami himself doesn't know what he is doing. You know, that is the kind of the Maya which Swami creates. You know, it's like the people around start thinking that, okay, Swami just doesn't know what he is doing. That was the kind of situation it was that time. But Swami had clearly mentioned to me, because he knew that this fellow is absolutely useless. He cannot handle uncertainty like this. I need to prepare him. So he kind of made it very clear to me and kept the luggage, everything ready. So it was also an indication to everyone that, you know, that we never know when Swami is acting. Because Swami is acting all the time. But sometimes when we get too close to Swami, that acting is way too real. It's way too real. It is very difficult for us to remind ourselves that, oh my God, we're actually serving Bhagavan. We're actually serving the universal God. And it is such small instances which we constantly give for us to awaken and to be alert. Unless we catch this, it is very easy to be trapped in his Maya. Way back in 1940, when Swami declared his avatarhood, when Mother Ishwarama had come to see, he said Maya has arrived. And then he asked her to make food, different food, mix it together, make it in balls and give it to him. And after he ate that, he said, Maya has left me. But he never said that he left Maya. Maya left him, but he caught on to Maya and he is putting that on all of us all the time. So unless we are alert, it is very easy to get deceived by this Maya Nataka Shutradhari and Maya Nataka Veshadhari. It's one of those darshan days when during this schedule, Swami had come very late for darshan and he was sitting in Kulwanthal. So that day my parents were supposed to arrive to Puttaparthi, and the driver who usually picks them up, he was not available. So I had kind of contacted a different driver to go and pick them up. And I had not sent the new number to my parents, thinking I would do it after darshan. Then darshan was getting more and more delayed. I was starting to panic. I was thinking, oh my God, my parents will come to a railway station and there will be nobody, they will not know whom to contact. They will not be able to come. They'll get stranded. All these thoughts are going on in my mind. And I was like, in a way I was blaming Swami, what, some weird time have come and I can't even contact them. What am I going to do? That kind of thoughts were going on in my head. Suddenly, without Swami was continuing to look straight. But as though there was some energy of Swami which turned towards me and looked at me, I was stunned into eternal silence. And then I felt Swami telling me, you are taking care of me, will I not take care of your parents? With that one statement, all the worry, all the fear had disappeared. So much so that I even forgot to ask my parents whether they reached after Swami returned to residence. The next day morning, I asked my parents, so how did you come? Then they said, no, somebody had come and they had contacted and they told me this is the driver who was supposed to take us, and we came. So when we are doing Swami's work, Swami makes it very clear that our life is in his hands and he's taking care of everything for us. So this internal connection which he does. Right? So people ask me, so what about now? After 2011, do you still feel that connection? My answer is that I do not get any dreams. I don't, there are people who very happily they say that, Swami comes in their dreams and they get instructions and all that. I don't have any such thing. I do not connect to Swami in meditation. I do not get visions. So, but how do we still know that he is there? There are days when I've been extremely sad, extremely miserable about something which was probably beyond my control, something for which I could do nothing about. And then, out of nowhere, suddenly a burst of happiness will come from within. There's no source for that happiness. There's no reason to feel happy. Things appear so gloomy and doomy outside. But there's a burst of happiness which comes from within. And I know that there's only one person who has access, the keys to my heart. The fact that the happiness is coming out is for me all the evidence that I need. That Bhagavan is there with us at all moments. So that is the connection which I feel towards Bhagavan, and that is something which I'm extremely grateful to him for at all times. He's Sulabha Prasanna, the most easily pleased. At one hand, he's a very hard taskmaster. He expects absolute obedience. If there's something which was told to be done, we are supposed to do it the way it is to be done. But at the other end, he melts so easily with the least effort that we do. Remember one very interesting incident which once happened. Swami came for darshan. The hall you're seeing back. So typically, Swami was coming in a car called Porte, from which the chair used to come out on its own, and Swami would get down. And Swami used to usually get down behind where Ganesha is. And Swami would come in through where doctors sit and come to the stage. So that day what happened, Swami told the person who was driving the car to come all the way forward behind the portico and to stop the car in front of where the teachers were sitting. So what happens usually when Swami's car comes down, one of us will go and sit on Swami's left side, Swami's right side, so that we can get up and take the chair as soon as the chair comes down fully. So, but that day, if you notice the way the car was placed, a person sitting on Swami's right would be directly obstructing the devotee's view to Swami. So this boy, out of force of habit, he went and sat in the usual position. And when Swami's chair was coming out, Swami looked at him and scolded him very, with so much intensity. He got so scared, he went and stood behind the car. So then Swami came out. I took Swami's chair, and Swami sat in the stage for some time. He listened to Vedam, some songs, and then he went back to the interview room. So this student with great reputation, he went to Swami and said, Swami, I'm so sorry for what I did. Swami asked, for what? He said, Swami, Swami scolded me when you were coming down from the car. Nena, did I scold you? When? Swami looked so surprised that it was he who scolded that boy. The time it became so clear that at that moment there was probably some devotee out there who probably cursed the student that he was blocking his or her view of Swami. And Swami was immediately observed that thing and made sure that the student moved away so that he doesn't get the bad will of whoever it is that was doing that. And also, what is the whole purpose of Swami is coming down, right? It is for us to enjoy his darshan. And why? How can he allow anyone to be a barrier between them? So it was just that string of love between that devotee and Bhagwan, which being interrupted, Swami had erupted in anger. But that anger was completely not directed towards that individual. It was just directed towards that obstruction. So that to me felt very, very interesting, right? So how Swami uses anger as a tool. It was not an anger towards a person. That anger was a tool which was required so that action was taken immediately. If Swami had called that boy and lovingly told him that, see, you are obstructing somebody's view, you have to move, that would have taken an additional 20 to 25 seconds, of which the disciple would have lost, the devotee would have lost the darshan of Swami. Instead, by using anger as a tool, he made this boy immediately disappear from where he was to behind the car so that he was not obstructing anyone. So the fact that it was a tool and not a nature was very beautifully explained in this incident. And to give the other extreme of this incident, there was once, long back when I had started doing my duty, there was one person who told me, see, you always have to remember that Swami's mission is happening not due to us, but despite us. So I told him, sir, I know that very well. I really don't know why Swami is struggling so much by having somebody like me to serve him. In no way I am qualified. He said, yes, that is how we all feel. That's how we all feel in the beginning. But then a time will come when you will feel that you are indispensable. That Swami's mission cannot go on without you. It is at that moment that you have to remember what I'm saying now. That Swami's mission happens despite you and not because of you. So a moment came after many years. And when I was serving Swami, and there was this international choir who was performing. And I knew that at the end of the program, or maybe sometimes in between songs, Swami might ask if they all want to have water. So with the help of some other brothers, I got water ready. In a tray, I had enough glasses for whoever were there in the orchestra. And I was, from the interview room, I was taking the tray of glass and I was coming. So at that moment, Swami looked at the person who was conducting the orchestra and asked, are you thirsty? And he said, yeah, he was like, I mean, if that is going to give an opportunity for Swami to give them something, why say no, right? Anything which Swami gives is prasadam. So that person, being extremely wise that he was, he said, yes, Swami. And And as soon as he said that and Swami turned, I was walking there with a tray full of glasses. And the whole Kulwandal started clapping. And I started feeling like, okay, now I've actually become Hanuman. Even before Rama expressed his desire, I've already satisfied it. So with that feeling of extreme pride, as though I am not anyone lower than him, but just for visibility and for optics, it is important that Swami blesses these classes. So I kneeled down and showed the tray to Swami. The Swami turned towards me and said, Donna Putta, donkey, why you brought water, you should have brought juice. And then he laughed and then he said, I give this water to everyone. So at one moment, he completely squashed any ego which had arisen, thinking that, I can predict what Swami's move is. But after that point was made, he did not drag it on. And then he said, okay, now go and give the water. I made the point, you have taken the point, now that's all that I need. And then I wanted to go on to talk about one of the most interesting experiences. This was during Swami's Chennai visit. Way before, when I first came to Swami in 2003, when I got my admission in Puttaparthi for my MBA, at that time I was still confused whether I should join or not, because I had not really known Swami that well, except more than having a photograph of Swami in our altar. So then we thought, okay, let us go to Kodaikanal and ask Swami only. So when I had gone to Kodaikanal that time with my parents, I've coming from the south and from Chennai, I've been an ardent fan of the superstars of the southern movie industry, Rajinikanth and Kamal Haasan. So I went there and I was sitting in Kodaikanal and Swami comes to the balcony. And I was sitting down and that was actually the closest darshan I've had of Swami till then in my life. And there from the balcony, Swami calls towards one of the devotees for an interview. And instead of that devotee, a devotee sitting in front of him, he gets up and walks. And then Swami tells him, not you, you go and sit down and I'm calling the other person. So if anybody else does something like this, it would be an extremely awkward situation, right? We are calling someone, but somebody else gets up, then you are telling, no, it's not you, it's somebody else. But the sheer style and charisma with which Swami did it, everybody, including the person who was made to sit down, was extremely filled with bliss. They were all happy, everybody was laughing. And then I thought, forget Rajinikanth, forget Kamal Haasan. I cannot find a bigger superstar than him. I wanted to spend some years with this personality. So saying that is how I joined my MBA in 2003. So life had come a full circle after that, and had this opportunity to serve Swami and accompanied Swami back to Chennai. And on that particular day, that's the said superstar Rajinikanth had come to take Swami's darshan along with his family. So Swami comes out and he comes and gives his bouquet and all, right? And Swami blessed him, blessed his family. And then he was coming out for darshan. So despite the fact that I was trying to act extremely cool, the back of my mind is going, hey, the superstar of Chennai has come. Swami has to speak to him. Swami has to give him an interview. Of course, that has to happen. How can that not happen? Right? So that's what is going on in my head. And Swami goes around Sundaram, gives darshan to everyone. And then Swami asks us to take one more round. So again, we accompany Swami and go all around Sundaram where everyone is seated. Swami looks at everyone. And then Swami asks us to take a third time. So then I thought, okay, now let me help Swami out here. Okay, Swami is clearly confused. He wants to speak to someone. He's not able to find that person. I know who that person is whom Swami wants to speak to. So I went and told Swami, Swami, if you're looking for Rajinikanth, he's not here. He's sitting there. And Swami said, "Donna pata noor musko." Donkey, close close your mouth. So I said, okay. And then I stepped back. And again, this time when Swami is taking the full circle, Swami asked us to open the gates of Sundaram. The Sundaram gate was kept closed. So they opened the gates of Sundaram. There were still so many devotees standing outside who had come after, whose turn in the line was after the Sundaram had got full. So they were not been able to come inside. So Swami went outside, feeling the pangs of separation of all those people who were standing behind the door. And he gave them all darshan. There's one mother and son standing there. And Swami calls out to this child and materializes a chain for him. And he puts the chain around his neck. You see in this photograph, between the boy and Swami, Swami was the one who was more happy. So from that day, I started telling that the superstar of Chennai is no longer Rajinikanth, it is that boy. Because he was able to bring Swami from, his call was so strong that Swami had to open the gates of Sundaram, come out, search for him and give him that blessing. So with these anecdotes, I hope I have whetted your appetite for connecting again with Swami in the most happy and the most humorous way possible. Let there be no seriousness in our spirituality. Whatever it is that we choose to do, whatever path that we want to take, let us do it with the absolute happiness that we are just going on the train journey when the train is being driven by Swami. Swami tells a story of a person who carries his luggage and sits in the train. Somebody asks, "So why are you carrying your luggage?" The person replies, "Boss, the train is carrying so much luggage of everyone. At least my luggage let me carry." Then others laugh and saying, "See, irrespective of whether you put it on a head or you put it down, it is the train which is carrying that luggage." When everybody is laughing, Swami says, "That is what you are all doing. I am carrying all your lives. And still you go around saying that these are my problems and I have to carry them." There's no difference between the stupidity of that man who carried his luggage in the train and all of us who are carrying our problems on our own heads. Irrespective of whether you put down your problems or you carry it, it is me who's going to carry the burden of it. So you might as be free, less luggage, more comfort. But less luggage, more comfort makes travel a pleasure. So with this, I open the forum for questions. If any of you want to ask any questions, it's extremely possible that I have no answers to them. But it will be interesting to explore the answer to the questions which arise together. You can either use the chat option or you can unmute yourself and ask your questions. Sai
Ram, brother Harish.
Sai Ram, brother.
So, could you please tell more about your initial days of when you came to Swami's fold as a child?
Not child.
So,
like in the introduction, it was.
Got it. And I understood your question, brother. So, at the age of 7, when my father's younger sister got married to a Swami's devotee. So when he came home, as was the culture in those times, it's like if a new son-in-law comes into the family, you invite them home for lunch or dinner. And when he came home, the gift that he brought with him was Swami's photo. So when that photograph came, my mother, from her childhood, she had been introduced to Shirdi Baba. And so she was aware of Shirdi Sai Baba as well as Swami. But they're not praying to Swami, and it was just a concept which was there in her mind. So when this photograph came, it was brought by the son-in-law of the family who's held in high respect, right? So to make sure that, and as soon as a young boy, as you all know, and all have children at home, there are 1,000 questions. What is the new face? Who is this person? So I went to my mother and asked. Obviously, I was too shy to ask this stranger who has just entered our house and our family. So I went to the most comforting face at home. I went to my mother and asked, who's this person? Whose photograph is this? So then she told me that this person, his name is Sai Ram. And he says that there is only one God. And in Kali Yuga, he is the God. And he says that he is a reincarnation of Baba of Shirdi. So this much was the knowledge which she had, and this is what she said. So as a small child is looking at an altar full of different gods with different faces, right? So this was a very familiar human face. It was a beatific face. It was a smiling face. And I took an instant attraction towards that face. And this explanation of my mother was so, so relaxing and relieving. There is only one God. Wow. And he is the God of this Yuga. Now, why do I need to pray to anybody else? So with just that one statement of my mother, Sai Ram became the Taraka mantra in my life. And whichever temple I go to, it used to be Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. But that was it. I had no exposure on Swami's philosophy or what Swami's concept was. And even the concept of love for God had not been instilled in me at that time. It was still the concept of fear of God. So in fact, I used to, so there is this concept in when a child in TN where they say if you do a mistake, Umachi Kannakutwa, that is the God will prick your eyes. You know, that is the kind of way in which grandparents used to scare us. So I used to go around and tell the same thing. They're saying that Sai Ram will come and poke your eyes. So that was my understanding of Swami. I hardly knew anything about Swami's philosophy and all that. But that name and that form had captured its place in my heart. So that was how Swami had become an integral part of my identity. But it was only much later in 2003 when I actually came to Prashanthi Nilayam that I developed a totally different kind of relationship with him, and relationship with not just him, but with the concept of God itself. It was extremely beautiful 2 years of student life and a lot of bonus years after that. Does it answer your question, brother?
Yes, thank you so much.
Hey, Sarah and brother Harish, this is Lakshmi. What does Swami has to say when you face adversities? I mean, life is full of adversities, but still, when you go through tough times, I mean, it's very difficult to surrender because we are constantly anxious and fearful. And when more adversities come through, it's kind of difficult to hold on to that, the surrender path. So, what do you have to say? Or what does Swami have to say about facing adversities in life?
See, Swami is very clear. Irrespective of whether you surrender or you do not surrender, whether we surrender or we do not surrender, our head is already in the tiger's mouth. So it is he who is taking care of our lives. So if we surrender, we can be peaceful when we go through all our troubles. If not, we are completely free for us to worry. See, what Swami has already decided what our life is going to be, how it is going to progress, what are the life lessons we have to learn. All that is going to happen. So the choice that we have is either we can choose to have the identity of a witness and say that, okay, Swami, you are taking my life through whatever it is that you're taking me through, and let me enjoy it. or we can fight our way. We can struggle. But irrespective of whether we do this or we do that, our life is going to go through the exact path which Swami has decided. And Swami's mercy is so high that he can drag us through the hells of fire if he knows that it is good for us. So that is the difference between, even at home, you will see the difference between a father's love and a mother's love. So a father's love would be, okay, the boy is asking for ice cream, let us give him the ice cream. The mother's love would be, no, he's already had an ice cream today. If he has one more ice cream, his tooth will get decayed. So it is important that, he has to, that is controlled. So the mother's denial itself is out of a even higher love than the father. Mata Pita. And then imagine the 1,000 mothers. We cannot understand one mother's love. What we can understand 1,000 mothers' love. That is the height of his mercy, and that is the height of his love, that he will do whatever it is that he knows is needed for taking us towards the goal which he has set for us. Because the goal which he has set for us, it is very difficult for us to even imagine it. It is very difficult for us to even think of that kind of goal. Because that requires a very different perspective, that requires it to look at ourselves from a very different identity. So what Swami has said is just that. It is our choice of how we want to go through our difficulties. But finally, it is he who's taking care of us. And there is nothing that we can do, either positive or negative, which is going to change that. So all that we can do is have more peace of mind by surrendering. So that is the choice that we have. It's as simple as that.
Thank you.
Sairam, there's someone on chat who has a question.
Oh, okay.
You want, I could read it to you.
That's okay. Swami says when Adharma goes beyond the limit, he will descend. So is this the time that he will come as Premasai to safeguard the world during this crisis? Because we don't know where this crisis is taking us or where to draw the line. Do we need another avatar for us to come down to do something for this? So the discussion which we're actually having, this may not be an official answer. This is again, as I was telling you before, this is an answer which I'm exploring along with all of you. So I was having a discussion with one of my Puttaparthi classmates. See, we read about so many of these asuras and all that who have descended, so many people and tormented people. Now when you look back, probably all these asuras were viruses here. So they are the ones who come here and they've tormented people. Nobody knows. People who are extremely strong also do not know how to resolve this. So then, and then there's only one person who knows and who has the correct astra how to solve this. And then we had this question, okay, if the viruses were the asuras, typically all these asuras were killed by one devata. Either Ganesha came down or Subramanya came down, Shiva came down, or Vishnu came down in one of the many avatars. And he fought with those asuras and conquered them. So when that is the case, how is it that a virus like this, which seems to be the only way to solve it is by social distancing and all that, how is it that God can come and solve this? So when we were having this discussion, a third brother forwarded a message from the Pondicherry mother. So apparently in 1919, there was a flu pandemic in Japan. So this is probably either the same as a Spanish flu or a different one, I'm not sure. But there was a flu pandemic in Japan, and apparently it's like people used to get the fever, and after 3 days somebody would just die. or after 7 days, they would, after a lot of suffering, they will recover and then they will be normal. So this was a typical life cycle of this virus. And then there was so much fear everywhere. And she was a small girl at that time, and her roommate at that time, she was extremely scared, and she was constantly asking, what is this virus? Where did this come from? And all those kind of questions. And she was trying to discard all that, and she was trying to protect herself because I think she was already uh, indoctrinated into some occult teachings. So she was just protecting herself. So it was one of those days when she had to travel to the other end of Japan to meet someone for a conference. And that time they had to take the subway. And when she was traveling in the subway, she would feel that fear from everyone which was there around. And when she came back to her house, no wonder she had the fever. And she knew that she had contracted that virus. So she was going through that process, and that feverish state, that those questions of her roommate, as what is this virus, where did it come from, what is how to make it go away. And then she says this on the third day, she kind of was able to visualize this virus as a soldier with a half severed head was coming and sucking on her energy, life energy. This was the time when typically people die, right? So the end of third day. So at that time, she says she called out all her occult powers and all that. And so there was a fight, and the demon was defeated. Most of these things, it's very impossible for any of us to understand. But it's just that we know it was told by a personality who is well respected. So that is when the thought came to me that probably we are trying to look at this through our limited lens, right? Swami says that human beings, we are born with a limited company. The limited company, Swami says, is the body. So our eyes can see only from one wavelength to another wavelength. Our ears can hear only from one frequency to another frequency. There's only temperature difference of this much that we can perceive. So that does not imply that anything which cannot be perceived by us does not happen. A shrill pitch is heard by a dog. So we know that it exists, just that we don't hear it. So possibly there is something happening at a different plane where this energy which is causing this virus, something which can be defeated by a different positive energy. And that is the reason why Swami constantly asks us to, do all these positive reinforcements, like doing bhajans together, doing offering homams and all those things, right? All those practices are things which are done to energize the good force against the bad force. Again, this is just my understanding. So probably instead of trying to very scientifically and analytically try to see how it is that as an individual avatar or individual descendant of God can come and conquer this virus, it is probably something that we have to go back to Swami's teachings and see what are the things that we have, which we can use as our arsenal. I mean, very clear. It is satsangs like this. It is singing bhajans. It is chanting Rudram. Whatever ways that we have, chanting Gayatri, chanting Sai Gayatri, however it is, whatever sadhana it is that we are doing, let us continue to do that, and let us continue to increase the positive energy which is there in the universe, so that can fight. So that is my understanding of how to deal with this problem. But coming to specific question of Premasai, it is of when there was once a devotee who went to Swami and said, Swami, when will Premasai come? So a few students like this, we were like shocked. What is this thing this person is asking? Swami looked at him and said, right now I'm standing there in front of you. How much of me have you understood that you are saying that you are ready for the next avatar? So let us try to understand at least a small percentage of what Swami has come and tried to tell us with so many discourses. Which avatar has done this? How many times Swami has told the same things over and over and over again? I asked us to adopt at least a small percentage of it. I think that is enough many lifetimes for us. We do not need a Premasai. We do not need another avatar. Whenever he chooses to come for whatever purpose he chooses to come, let him do it. I personally have no interest with Premasai. Unless it is Swami's will that something has to happen, I have absolutely no interest. Because such is a wealth that Swami has left us with. I don't think 9 lifetimes are enough for us to finish using the wealth that Swami has given us. That's my $0.02 on that. Right. I think with that we are coming to the end of the time, right? So I think 7:15 is when this ends. So I once again thank Swami and the Kansas City Sai Center for giving this opportunity. When we came to the US and we are coming to Bentonville, one of the biggest regrets that we had was that there's no Sai Center here. So we have tried to start our own bhajan mandali, and then a few of us were coming together, and every month we are having bhajans. So it is we would need the guidance of all of you. So when we want to take it forward and take it ahead, thank you again for this opportunity.
Sairam, Harish, if you don't mind,
Yes.
this is Monica. Can you please sing a bhajan for me on this auspicious day, please?
Sairam. So I was never a bhajan singer in Prashant Nilayam. I know I'll tell you what we will do. Sarvajit? Yeah? Can you come and sing one bhajan? Please? I don't know any bhajan. My son is refusing. All right. So in Kodaikanal once, Swami had used to ask the students who are typically non-bhajan singers to sing so that it will be entertainment for everyone, right? So that again, someone who loves comedy. So during one of those occasions, I had an opportunity to sing this bhajan in front of Swami. So I'll probably sing this. Manas bhajare guru charanam dostara bhava sagar taranam Guru Maharaj Guru Jai Jai Sainath Sadguru Jai Jai Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namah Om Arunachala Shiva Arunachala Shiva Arunachala Shiva Aruna Shivo Omkaram Bhava Omkaram Bhava Omkaram Bhava Om Namo Baba Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam Dostara Bhava Sagara Taranam.
Thank you so much, Harish. Sairam.
Yes, Saram, someone is saying something?
Yeah, thank you so much, Harish. Did you give us a special message today to take away and follow on a daily basis?
Just the message of the talk which Swami tells us all the time. Always be happy, always be happy, always be happy.
Want to introduce your wife? Is she there?
Sorry, can you see Amma is free? By the way, this is Sarvajit. This is my sitcom. Don't feel shy, sir. Show your face.
I am.
Let me just turn off the virtual background. You can see. So this is Sarvajit. Say Sairam, Sarvajit. Say Sairam.
I'm Sanjit. Want to say a few words? Are you shy?
Yeah, he is very shy. Okay, see if Amma is free.
But Amma, Appa, who are all her these?
I will tell you later.
What is her name?
I'm not sure. I'll tell you later. Okay?
What is her name?
I don't know, Savir. You know, the photos are there. I cannot see. How will I know?
I know her name.
Saira. Okay, I'll mute the call now. I think we should. It's 7:16, so I think we should go ahead with the rest of the.
Sairam.
Sairam. Brother Harish, on behalf of the Sri Satya Sai Center of Kansas, we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing your divine experiences on this auspicious day. We will be doing a 30 seconds meditation now, followed by thought for the day, Mrityunjaya Mantram, and Harati.
असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया ॐ शांति शांति शांति.
Sairam, thought for the day from Prashanti Noyam for Friday. Consider the meaning of the name Sai Baba. Sa means divine. I or Ai means mother, and Baba means father. Your physical parents exhibit love with a dose of selfishness. But Sai, your divine mother and father, showers affection or reprimands only to lead you towards victory in the struggle for self-realization. For this, Sai has come in order to achieve the supreme task of uniting the entire mankind as one family through the bond of brotherhood. His task is to affirm and illuminate the Atmic reality of each being in order to reveal the divine, which is the basis on which the entire cosmos rests. It is also his task to instruct all to recognize the common divine heritage that binds one to another, so that you can rid yourself of the animal and rise into the divine. I had to tell you so much about my truth, for I wish that you contemplate on this and derive joy therefrom. I wish that you may be inspired to observe the disciplines laid down by me and progress towards the goal of self-realization, the realization of the Sai that shines in your heart. Thought for the day for Saturday. Love is divine. Love all. Share your love even with those that lack love. Pure love is like a mariner's compass. Wherever you keep it, it will point Godward. In every action of your daily life manifests selfless love. Divinity will emerge from that. This is the easiest path to God realization. But why aren't people taking to it? This is because they are obsessed with misconception relating to the means of experiencing God. They regard God as some remote entity attainable only through arduous spiritual practices. God is everywhere. There is no need to search God anywhere. All you see is a manifestation of the divine. All human beings you see are forms of the divine. Correct your defective vision and you will experience God in all things. Speak lovingly, act lovingly, think with love, and do every action with a love-filled heart. Understand that the path of divine love is the easiest, sweetest, and surest pathway to God. Baba. Sai Ram, now we'll be doing Mrityunjaya Mantram 11 times.
ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् 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 ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पर्ति महेश्वरा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणप्रते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवमु मरेयन्तयो मीरे स्वामी मरेयन्तयो मीरे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी वो साई महादेव सत्य साई महादेव मंगल हारति अंधुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष प्रदानं बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि। साई बाबा विभूतिं idamaśrayami. Sacred, holy and supreme is Baba's vibhutim, pouring forth in brilliant streams display of vibhutim. So auspicious is its might, it grants liberation. Baba's vibhuti, its power protects us. Paramam pavitram Baba vibhutim, paramam vichitram leela vibhutim, paramartha ishtartha moksha pradanam Baba vibhutim idamaśrayami. Sai Baba vibhutim idamaśrayami. Om Om Om. Sai Ram. Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Vidya bless me.
Thank you so much. Sai Ram.
Yes, I am